Scottsdale Center for Spiritual Living. I'm Reverend Jill Clements, and I am delighted that you're all here this morning. And thank you to those joining us in our virtual community today. We welcome you as well into service. We're going to start with a reading, and then we'll have some music and quiet time. And I'll bring us back out when it's time to come back in this morning. So I invite you to just take a breath, close your eyes, and relax as we begin to move into our meditation. We have a reading from Michael Beckwith in the 40-Day Mind Fast Soul Feast. A quote from Howard Thurman. When with deliberate intent I have turned my back on truth and peace, thou hast searched for and found me. I cannot escape thy scrutiny. I would not escape thy love. Peace is a quality of the spirit that is everywhere present. Peace is what you're called to reveal first within your own consciousness and then in your world. Thoughts and actions born of the inner peace of your soul are in alignment with the laws of the universe. All of the peace that you could ever desire is already within you. It saturates the universe and everything in it. You contact this peace through meditation and affirmative prayer. At first, your meditative silence may seem empty, punctuated by interludes of distracting thoughts. Continue to sit until the silence is transmuted into stillness. If you persevere, you will be lifted into a state of rapture. Even now, it is calling unto you. Its voice remains subtle until you attune yourself to its transcendent vibration. The spirit is so humble that it will not force itself into your awareness. But what great joy it knows when you willingly enter the temple of bliss within your own soul. Throughout this day, stop frequently to breathe and touch that place within you that is the peace that surpasses all understanding. Let it be carried on the wings of your thoughts, words, and actions. Through calmness, keep your mental and nervous systems relaxed so that they may catch the intuitive guidance whispered to you by Spirit. Peace is another way of practicing the presence of God. Like a river, Spirit's peace flows through my being and soothes, warms, and harmonizes my body, mind, and soul. And so we take those beautiful words into our meditation time this morning and just reflect on that silence, the stillness, and the peace of God within. Like a river, Spirit's peace flows through my being and soothes, warms, and harmonizes my body, mind, and soul. How grateful I am for this time this morning to come together as community in the silence, to be at one and to be at peace. I invite you to begin to bring your awareness back. Feel the chair supporting you, your feet on the floor. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes as our meditation time is over. Namaste. I didn't read long enough. I didn't have a long enough read. seated. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Scottsdale Center for Spiritual Living. How are you today? Super. Excellent. Wonderful. Well, you look great. Are you awake now? Whoa. Okay. Good morning. Welcome to everybody joining us online today, too. We're delighted that you have found us in our virtual community and hope that you find us to your liking and will come see us soon. All right. Well, it's first Sunday. Know what that means? All of our March birthdays get celebrated today. If March is your birthday, please stand and we'll sing happy birthday. Same for you folks at home. Yay! And everyone at home also, if you're celebrating this month. We are glad that you're all here today joining us. And if you're with us for the very first time, we welcome you wherever you may be on your journey. Know that you are welcome here. If you did not receive a welcome packet when you came in, we'll have one for you at the end of service. It's got some information about our community, about our teaching, and you can have one of those to take home and review there. You can also join our mailing list, which is available in the front lobby. We have a QR code. You can just point your camera at that and go right into our website, and that will get you a weekly email of everything that's happening here. You can find out what the talk is, what if we've got live music that Sunday, classes, events, and all sorts of other things. Comes out on Saturday mornings. And you can find us on Facebook and YouTube, and many have done that this morning. And these talks will be recorded and posted later to YouTube and Facebook that you can, or actually YouTube and our website. You can go back and watch them again. And Facebook? Okay, and Facebook, I've been told. And you can go back and look at them again if you missed something, or if you want to refer friends and family, that's a wonderful way to do it. They can see what we're all about. And we have a wonderful community here, and we are continuing to grow and expand, and we love seeing new faces. We have a mission, vision, and purpose. Would you join me in speaking that into our service this morning? Our mission is to provide spiritual tools for personal and community transformation. Our vision is a world that works for everyone. Our purpose is to awaken to our spiritual magnificence. And so it is. Well, this morning we have a very special ceremony to welcome to install, if you will, our 2024 Board of Trustees. And this morning we're going to begin by lighting 3 candles. The white candle in the center is for the one spirit, which represents the one life that unites us all. The silver candle is for the preciousness, the absolute preciousness of our spiritual community. We are a safe harbor for all who to anchor in as we all explore together the infinite possibilities for the fuller expression of the divine through each one of us and our lives. This candle represents the past in our community as it has unfolded, and we recognize all of the people who have played a part in bringing about this moment today. We especially honor those who have served this community as our beloved board members over the past 9 years, giving of their love, their time, their talent, and treasure to this community in so many invaluable ways, guiding us through good years and challenging ones. But through it all, we've remained united as Scottsdale Center for Spiritual Living. The final blue candle is for our new board of trustee members, and for the vision we hold of our spiritual community. Everyone who is or has ever been a part of this community, whether in membership, attending in person or online, seasonal or local, each of us is a co-creator of this community. This board of trustees has answered a deeper call to be in service in a greater way, to be a leader and an ambassador and a guide for our greater yet to be. These beloveds have stepped into the field of infinite possibilities to guide us through whatever life brings and to lead us to greater expression as a spiritual community. You can see now that with 3 lights, it's brighter on the altar. And just like the saying, where 2 or more are gathered, God is more fully expressed. I'm going to invite now our 2024 board members to come up to the front of the room and just line up here, please. Last Sunday, we used our spiritual practice of visioning to self-select our roles in service this year. As each of these beloveds are introduced, they will take a white rose representing spirituality and the beginning, spirituality and new beginnings, as we welcome them into their service. Victoria Peterson, our president. Yay! No. Reverend Lee Hyde, our vice president. Yay! Kimberly Hauser, secretary. Yay! Volunteer coordinator Stephen Lozinski. And community outreach, Valerie Barnhart.
Remember my name. Thank you.
All right. Oh, and me. I'm your treasurer. I will be holding the consciousness of our prosperity for us individually and for our community. These have stickers, be careful. I just got stuck. So please welcome your board of trustees. Okay. I want to take a special moment to say thank you to our families, because without your love and support, we couldn't do this. So, Bob, thank you for your support of Victoria. And Katie's not here, but if you're watching, Katie, thank you for supporting Reverend Lee and all that he does here for us. And for Eric, who's not here, if you're listening, Eric, for supporting Kim and her service to our board and our community. And to Kathy for your service, to Steve and support to Steve, and Valerie, to all of your friends and family that I know love and support you deeply. And to my husband, Ron, for all that you do for me and for this community. So thank you. Thank you, all of our loved ones, for the support that you give us. And now it's our installation ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, you have been elected to the Board of Trustees of Scottsdale Center for Spiritual Living because the members of this center believe you to be worthy and representatives. They believe you to possess the qualities of leadership which will embrace and carry out our vision. Election to the board is both an honor and a privilege, and with this privilege comes personal and organizational responsibilities. In accepting this position on the board, you are making a commitment both to serve and to lead our organization according to our shared values and principles. Do you so commit? Yes. Every board member needs a deep commitment to their spiritual life. Do you commit to maintaining a spiritual practice during your service on the board? Yes. If a conflict arises between your position as a board member and your personal opinions, will you commit first to prayer, second to speaking only to the involved parties, and third to acknowledge this conflict before the board and take positive measures to resolve it? Yes. Will you commit to support in a positive manner all actions initiated by the board, even when you are in a minority position on such actions? Yes. With full commitment and a bond established by this ceremony, you are now duly installed as our Board of Trustees. Thank you each for your service and for your commitment. Thank you, and may you return to your seats. So would you join me in prayer, please? As we go within this morning, we recognize that there is one life, that life is God, and that all of that life is here now present. It is harmony and balance. It is joy and peace. It is prosperity, and mostly it is just love. It loves so much that it creates from that love as greater expression of itself through that creation. And I know that I am one in that creation, that I am one in that love. And as I know this about myself, I know that about each and every one of us here today. We are all united in this one mind, this one life, this one love. There's not two anything. There's only one. We are not separate. We are each whole, perfect, and complete in this manifestation of the divine presence as our life, individualized. This morning I speak of my word for and about this center, this board of trustees newly installed, knowing that each is guided and guarded by Spirit as we move through this year of 2024 and beyond, and that each of us as congregants, as attendees of this center, is blessed in that presence, that each one of these beloveds represents us in their presence, their sharing, and their love on this board. I know that this community is strong. I know that this community is committed. And I just bless each and every one of us today. I bless Reverend Lee and his message this morning, knowing that we are inspired by it to greater expression of who and what we are and have come here to be in the world. I bless all faith traditions. As we know, there are many paths to the divine, but there's only one God, one love, and it doesn't matter what we call it, spirit, source, energy, presence. There's only one, but so many paths, and we bless them all this day. And so it is a heart filled with so much gratitude for each and every one that steps into service in this community in any way, shape, or form, knowing that this community is blessed by that service. I gratefully release this prayer into the action of law, knowing that it is done and it is so. And we affirm this truth together by saying, and so it is.
You are blessed. You are a blessing. 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 You are a blessing. You are a blessing. Good morning. True forgiveness is when you can say thank you for that experience. And that was by Oprah Winfrey. Would anyone like to share a brief gratitude today? Come on, Beverly.
A couple things came to my mind this week. First of all, just for this moment, I'm just really, really grateful and excited for our new board members. This is so awesome that we have 6. Yay! And another thing that I was really thankful for this week is I've had season tickets to Speaker Series for 3 decades. And Phoenix has a Speaker Series, and the first year they opened it 4 years ago, I got tickets. And it's just so awesome to hear heartfelt conversations from very famous people, politicians around the world, presidents, premiers, our local some of our national politicians, some of famous sports people, authors. I mean, it's a whole variety of well-known people or well, you know, professional people. And it just gives my heart such a lift to know that decisions are made by smart people. And there's a heck of a lot of smart people in our country, in the world. And there's a lot of calmer minds. And when I go to these speaker series, it's just so nice to know that there are calmer minds, smart minds, people that think a lot and analyze and take everything into consideration. And I'm just really grateful for that.
Okay. Well, March 31st is Easter Sunday and the anniversary of our first Scottsdale CSL service, which is amazing. Thank you, Reverend Jill. So, we're going to celebrate with a potluck, which we do so well here, and a brunch in the courtyard. And you can sign up in the front there to bring a dish to share. All are welcome, and see Valerie for information. Okay, we're looking for a host for our Gourmet for God fun and fundraisers. We call it Gourmet for God, but you do not have to be a gourmet. You don't even have to make it food centered. Just a fun and connecting event for friends and congregants to buy tickets for a wonderful experience. All proceeds benefit your spiritual community. So get creative and start planning your event. And you can see our idea book in the entry with frequently asked questions on display. Okay, and our spiritual education classes continue. We'll be offering the art and science of spiritual mind treatment beginning April 11th. This 8-week course is one that is on the path for practitioner classes and explores the principles and practices of science of mind with an emphasis on the use of daily spiritual mind treatment, combining the principles of science of mind and the practice of spiritual mind treatment creates a dynamic learning opportunity for students to engage in intentional manifestation, allowing them to heal, overcome challenges, and change the conditions of their lives and the lives of others. The life-changing class is $200 plus $45 to CSL for class registration fee. Payment plans are available. And after Reverend Lee's talk this morning, he'll open the mic for your questions and comments about today's topic. We have a basket of pens and paper in the entryway that you can write down any questions or thoughts you may have. And we love music here at Scottsdale CSL. And today, Reverend Jill will be announcing our guest artist. Thank you.
Thank you, Victoria. Well, we're doing something a little different this month, so I wanted to set it up for you before we play the music this morning. We are going to be showing video soundtracks from the recordings from the from the 2000 movie Jesus Christ Superstar, sung by the stars of the show and the new cast of that show as well, backup. We've edited the recordings for length and for graphic content, much of it is graphic, as much as we possibly can. And then each week, our message is going to discuss the metaphysical principles associated with the clip, with the story, as it relates to our spiritual practice this month that we're talking about, which is forgiveness. Today, Reverend Lee will begin with the story of the Last Supper. That's sort of the beginning of that last week. And we're going to go all the way from the Last Supper through the resurrection for Easter Sunday on the 31st and follow those Bible stories of the last days of Jesus' life as our foundation for these talks. So I hope that you enjoy this series as much as we have enjoyed putting it together. It's been a lot of fun for us. And today's song is called The Last Supper, and it is sung by Glenn Carter, who is Jesus in this production, and also Jerome Pradon as Judah or Judas. They say Judah in here, but Judas, plus the new cast singing backup, of course. So please welcome Glenn Carter of Jesus Christ Superstar.
Oh, good morning, good morning, good morning. I saw the original production in 1971. It's Greek theater in Los Angeles. Yes, I'm 42. Still. um, nevertheless, the story of the last week of Jesus is pretty amazing. And we're talking about this story, and we're talking about forgiveness and the path to forgiveness and the power of forgiveness. Jesus had a lot of work to do. He had to deal with what Judas was inevitably going to do. He had to face that. He had to face his own challenges with the path forward that he was looking at. And we're not going to get too deeply into that today. But this Last Supper scene, this event, remember that this is a bunch of young Jewish men, for the most part, walking around the area, not too far. They never traveled very, very far from home. And this is the Passover feast, where they are celebrating the freeing of the slaves from Egypt, their forebears, being released by the Pharaoh and leaving the area and going inevitably, eventually, to Israel, returning home and embracing their freedom after so many years. So Jesus and the disciples and a few others are gathering together to celebrate Passover, to enter into a time of remembrance of there are people moving from enslavement to freedom. So this is the context within which they're meeting and setting up this way forward for Jesus to come into his own larger ministry. Surrounded by all the conflict, all the various people embracing Jesus and various people pushing back against Jesus, and there's all kinds of chaos all going around. But the disciples are gathering together with Jesus for what they thought was a time of just, let's have dinner. Let's get together and celebrate this and celebrate our own traditions. So, with all that in mind, what's next? Jesus knows that Judas is getting ready to betray him. He knows, he has this knowing that Simon, he looks at Simon Peter and says, you know what? Before the cock crows 3 times, you're going to deny me. And Peter's like, no, not going to happen. And Jesus looks at Judas and he calls him out. He says, look, go do what you're going to do. I know you're going to betray me. Go do your thing. You go do what you have to do. Now, in the video, Jesus was portrayed as being pretty angry, pretty upset by all this. Now, is that the case? Maybe. Depending on the version of the story that you read. Remember, in the New Testament, we have the 4 Gospels. We have a lot of different versions of the way all this kind of goes down, and there's some similarities and there are some differences. In the version I tend to lean towards a little bit myself, in the Gospel of John, as part of this whole process, early on, before the meal even starts, after Jesus has looked at Judas and said, "Hey, go do your thing," and Peter says, "You're going to deny me 3 times." And everybody's all wound up, but Jesus goes about the process of washing their feet and being in service to all the disciples, including the ones that he knows are going to kind of let him down, so to speak. So he moves into a place of being in service, of loving all of these people, and entering into a place of love and care and comfort with himself, because he has to be in that place if he's going to truly serve. So how do we do that for ourselves? One of the first quotes I ran across as I was looking at forgiveness and looking at the story was this one here. And it's one that I forgot to give you, Joe, so I'm sorry. It says, to forgive is to set a prisoner free and discover that the prisoner was you. To forgive is to set a prisoner free and to discover that the prisoner was you. Because I'm the one holding on to it. I'm the one that's upset. This other person may not even know how I'm feeling. Probably doesn't, and may not even care, quite honestly. So Jesus has come to a point where he's just settling in, and he says, you know what? I'm just going to love these people. I'm going to love them right where they are. And I'm going to move through this process from a place of love. Now, in a couple of the versions of the story in the Bible, it talks about them gathering in an upper room in this building. And isn't that interesting? Talking about rising up, about looking at things from a higher level, a more expanded view of life itself, of raising our consciousness to that place of love, raising the vibration to one where we are in love and celebration. Isn't that nice? And that's the place where forgiveness lives. That's the place where love lives. Is when we raise ourselves up above that vibration of anger or jealousy or resentment and say, you know what? No, I'm just going to love. I'm just going to love and allow love to lead me. Allow love to guide me and carry me forward. You see, because Jesus chose to stand in a place where he saw the divine in all of it. He recognized the divinity in all of it, not just in the people, but in the circumstances, in the course of events that he felt or knew were going to unfold before him. And in this moment that we're talking about today, he chose to just simply be in love. To not buy into the anger, to not buy into the jealousy, to not buy into the resentment, but to just simply love and be present with what he was being called to do in the moment. Mark Twain says this about forgiveness. Forgiveness is the fragrance that the violet sheds on the heel that has crushed it. Wow. Forgiveness is the fragrance that the violet sheds on the heel that has crushed it. Isn't that nice? Can I find the space in myself to just let go? To allow myself to be broken open in such a way by the events of my life that that fragrance of love shines forth. That scent of the violet can be given to whatever person, place, or thing I think has harmed me in some way, so that I can let it go and just move on. I can let it go and just simply move on. And as I thought about forgiveness and thought about all of this, the phrase that kept coming up for me is this: how much can I love? How much am I willing to love? How open can I be? How vulnerable, how authentic, how present with my own feelings and my own process in whatever moment I'm being called forward to just simply love. Because we all know, we all claim to believe, we all believe, we teach, we learn, that everywhere we look, we see the presence of God. And if God is love, then that love is everywhere present too. In whatever I might see going on around me, love is there. The divine is there. Or as Holmes writes in The Science of Mind this: to the one that loves much, much is forgiven. To the one that loves much, much is forgiven. How much in love with myself, how much in love with life, how much in love with whatever is going on around me can I be? Because we say that it's all infinite. We believe and say that love is an infinite power and presence, always moving, always expanding, always growing. And can I allow myself to get outside of my own little limiting thoughts about how much I can love? How much beyond that can I get? I get cranky behind the wheel of the car. I drive a lot for work, Monday through Friday. Some days a little, some days a whole lot. And yeah, I have times when I get cranky behind the wheel. And I have to stop and breathe and say, you know what? That person that just sped around me and cut me off and then slowed down. Was that you? I don't know what's going on in their world. Or that person that goes speeding by that comes up really fast behind me and then nudges me, or feels like they're nudging me. They're not really nudging me. It feels like they're hurrying me along. And then I move over and I don't know what's happening. They may have just got bad news and they're trying to get to the hospital real fast. Can I love that person? Can I love the person that told a story about me that is absolutely not true? Can I love the person that I feel hasn't forgiven me for that mistake that I made 20 years ago, or 2 years ago, or 2 weeks ago? And can I forgive myself for that? Can I set that aside? Can I love me just a little bit more? Because you know what? I can't go back and change that. You see, it's all just there are all these dynamics and all these things, and we talk about forgiving, we talk about there are all kinds of processes we can do to forgive. We can write that letter to that person, and maybe we send it and maybe we don't. But write that letter and get it out. Make the phone call. Spend the time to write that letter to me and say, you know what, Lee? You're okay. Yes, you've made mistakes. Yes, you've made changes. Yes, people's feelings have gotten hurt, and maybe your feelings have gotten hurt, Lee, because you chose not to do X, Y, or Z. But here you are. Here I am. Here you are. Here Jesus sits with his disciples and his friends that have been on this journey together to create this whole reset of a way of being, to move from the laws of God to blending that with the love that Jesus represented, that he stood for and stands for as an avatar in this world and this consciousness in which we live. Above all else, that's what he taught us, was to love one another. And as part of the process, if you look in John 14, 5 and 6, Thomas says to Jesus, he says, "Our Lord, we don't know where you are going, and how can we know the way?" And Jesus said to him, "I am the way, the truth, and the life. And no man comes to the Father except by me." And Joe, can you leave that up? Let's just leave that up for a minute. When Jesus is saying, "I am," and he says this, he uses this phrasing a lot. When Jesus says, "I am the way, the truth, and the life, and no one comes to the Father except by me," what he's talking about is not him as an individual. He's talking about his way of being, his way of expressing, the way that he is teaching us to be and to express. It's a kind of a colloquialism that in the translations got a little bit lost. Jesus wasn't necessarily talking about himself, but he was talking about his way. He's talking about what he is teaching us to be and to become in loving one another. And speaking about the Father that is in heaven and the heaven that is within us all, as he said earlier in the text. About a way of living that was from the inside out. Learning to love ourselves first and foremost, and then loving the Spirit of life, the Father, the kingdom of heaven, that's not just within us, but is all around us, he said. So he's looking at Thomas and saying, of course you know where it is. It is right there within you. Have you not been listening? I told you. I told you. Forgiveness can be a challenging thing. Forgiveness in many ways is not for the weak-minded or the weak-hearted. Gandhi says as much. Gandhi says that the weak can never forgive. I don't necessarily agree with that, but the weak can never forgive. But forgiveness is the attribute of the strong because it takes courage. It takes courage to let go of a position that we've held on to for so long. It takes courage to let go of attitudes that we have become attached to. They did me wrong way back when, and that is the reason I am the way I am. So sometimes it takes strength to let go of that position that says, you know what? So and so did that, and that's because that's the way, that's created me the way I am today. So if I have to change my position on that, that means I have to change my position on me, and I have to change. Oh my. I have to change. I have to have the courage to admit that maybe, just maybe, the position I've been holding is incorrect or no longer serves me. And if I have to let go of that position that no longer serves me, maybe a little chaos in my life will ensue. I may have to rearrange some things in my way of being that says, you know what? That doesn't work anymore. Now I get to do this. And I get to celebrate, quite honestly. I get to move through that chaotic period to a place where things are a little more clear, where I get to love a little bit more, I get to celebrate a little bit more, I get to be a little more excited about life, I get to see things in a new way. Because no longer am I holding on to that position of anger, frustration, jealousy, resentment. I've let go of a little bit of darkness out of my life and made room for more light, made room for more love, made room for more joy, made room for ultimately more freedom of being and freedom of expression. Because no longer am I held prisoner by my own attitudes, by my own anger and resentment, my own lack of forgiveness, because somebody somewhere along the way misunderstood me. I get to change. I get to be different. I get to learn and grow and evolve. I get to let go of all that darkness and make room for more light, make room for more freedom. Because to forgive is to embrace all of life as it is. All of life as it is. I need not agree with it. I need not like it all. Yet to see it in all of its magical diversity and the tapestry of beauty, to look at all of it, the infinite variety that life is, and know that I don't have to like it all. I don't have to agree with it all. I just have to simply look at it and accept it and love it. It doesn't have to, all of it is not necessarily part of my day-to-day experience. It's a pretty massive universe. It's a pretty huge world we live in. And I don't encounter all of it on a day in, day out basis. I have my world. I have my experience. And the things that I invite in. And if I can sit here and walk in a world and say, you know what? It's all love. It's all divine. It's all beauty. I may not like it all. And it's all changing and growing and evolving because I'm changing and growing and evolving. And one of the big pieces that can limit that experience for me is holding on to things that make me mad, holding on to things that upset me, holding on to resentment, holding on to whatever it is that's getting in my way. Can I forgive? Can I set it all aside and say, you know what? In the end, it's all the expression of God. And I can live it, I can love it, I can experience it, I can express it. Because I want to be free. And I believe that for Jesus, part of that process of freedom, part of getting to that freedom, was taking a moment with each of those disciples and washing their feet, serving them, taking a moment to love them, as they are, in all of their humanity, in all of their fears and anxiety and jealousy, and they competed with each other and they got upset with each other and they said, no, I'm the best. No, I'm the best. And all the stuff, all the drama that went on with those guys, man, it was something. And he just loved them in that moment. Because he understood that beyond all those human frailties was that spark of divinity that is within each and every one of us. And so he took a few minutes with each of them to love them and accept them right where they were. And to remind them that ultimately they were simply loved by him. And so can we do that for ourselves? Can we live that example? To let all of that other stuff go and simply be free. To simply be free and no longer be prisoner, be held prisoner by some limited idea of love that we may have held on to up until now. So let's choose freedom. Let's choose to see a larger version of life. And this takes us into our practicing the principle for this week. To forgive is to embrace all of life as it is. I do not have to like or agree with it all. However, seeing it all as an expression of the divine is the path to freedom. This week, let's take some time to pause and reflect upon anything that we are excluding from life as being not divine. I mean, do we do that? How often do we do that? Oh, that's not part of God. Can't be. And then ask ourselves, well, what's possible if it is? What's possible if what I have thought up until now could not possibly be part of the expression of the divine? If I had held that out as being, nope, that's not it. What's possible if it is? And what do I have to do to get there? To be able to shift from an exclusive view to a view that is more inclusive, right? That says it's all God. It's all the divine. No exceptions. No holdouts. No hold cards. None of that. It's all divine. So, okay. Now it's y'all's turn. I've been yakking long enough. You get to talk. Open mic time. Anybody? Oh,
Yeah. Oops.
okay. You're Valerie, and then you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
go ahead.
Thank you. The Bible always seems to confuse me a lot of times with different verses, and one of your message was no man comes to the Father except by me. Can you explain that? That threw me off again.
Okay.
Thank you.
So when Jesus is saying no man comes to the Father except by me, what he's saying is not by me personally, but by my way. Okay? So it's not by me, but by my way. So he's saying, practice what I'm teaching, practice the principle, practice what I'm showing you, right? Love one another as I have loved you, understand the kingdom of heaven is within you, and on and on and on. We can go through all the teachings, right? What he's saying is, if you follow and practice what I have shown you, practice what I have taught you, That is the way to a realization and a recognition and an experience of the kingdom of heaven that is within you.
It's just except by me, he says, except by me.
By his way.
By
His way, not him.
Okay,
Yes. Not him personally, but by in his way. Got it now? All right. Good question. Thank you.
Not the physical, but the philosophical.
Yes. Yes. Yes, ma'am. Good morning.
I, within my life, I mean, people that have personally wronged me or something, I thought, I don't have a problem with that, that. But what about what's going on with people and leaders in the world now who I think are doing terrible things and causing terrible suffering? Are we supposed to forgive them?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, because I'll say so. I can say I'll speak for me personally. Okay, I can sit here and be angry and upset and say, you know what, you're just doing it wrong. I don't agree. I don't like it. I don't like what you've done. I don't like the decisions you're making, the choices you're making. I don't like the direction. Whatever it is, whether they're whoever they are. Celebrity, politician, neighbor down the street, person online, some influencer or whatever, whoever it is. I don't have to like them. I don't have to agree with them. The way forward for me and what works best for me is to just simply love them as God expressing, as the divine expressing, because if I hold that everyone is an individualized expression of the divine as I am, then there is a spark of love and divinity in me. I don't have to agree with their choices. I can still love them. Because if I am in a position where I am not practicing forgiveness with them or acceptance with them, do they know it? No, they don't know it. The only person that knows it is me. So who is it harming? Who is it limiting? Who is it irritating? It's irritating me. It's not affecting them at all. So I just choose to love them. Don't have to like them, don't have to agree with them, but I can love them as an expression of the divine, no matter what's going on. And maybe my seeing that as part of them calls that forward for them just a little bit, if that's the direction they want to go. Does that help?
Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
I invite you to consider. I invite you to consider it as a possibility. You bet. All right. Okay, Diane.
I know for me, I just was around some people that I went to high school with, and some people mentioned things that were happened, and I know that I've truly forgiven some of those things because I don't even remember them.
Mm-hmm.
But it reminded me of how things I think I've forgiven, and I'm still sitting in judgment about right now. I mean, a couple of things came up in my mind, and I thought I was still judging that person or that thing, and that's not forgiveness for me. Mm-hmm. So it'd be nice if I could blank it all out and know that I've forgiven it. So
right.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, one more. Anybody? Okay, wrap it up then. Let's take this all into prayer then. So let's begin with gratitude. Begin with loving and knowing and accepting that there is one infinite power and presence, and that is God, that is the divine expressed at every point. expressed as love and joy, as forgiveness, as letting go, as acceptance. And so as we move into this time, as we begin to close today, we understand that this presence surrounds us, enfolds us, lifts us up, and moves through us as us in each and every moment. Each and every one of us here in the space, and all of you online, watching now or later at another time, we trust that all is well and that life is good and joy-filled and loving and prosperous and simply wonderful and magical right where we are. We set aside everything that has gone before, anything that may be holding us back, limiting us, upsetting us. We let it all go. And allow ourselves to live free, to celebrate life and love. And we know this for ourselves. We know that for the community in which we live, for anybody, anywhere on their journey in whatever faith tradition we may be experiencing, they may be expressing. We know that it is all God expressed. That is life divine. And so we move forward into the rest of this day and into the rest of our week, trusting that we are lifted up, guided, guarded, directed, and protected by love, by God as love, individualized as each and every one of us. And so we let it be, and so it is.
So it is. Thank you, Reverend Lee, opening up our series this morning. Very good. Thank you. Yay.
Yay.
All right. Well, it is time in our service for circulating our good, our prosperity through the community. And we have lots of ways to do that. We've made it easy for you. But first, Ernest Holmes tells us that the universe operates through dynamic exchange. Giving and receiving are different aspects of the flow of universal energy. In our willingness to give what we seek, we keep the abundance of the universe circulating in our lives. So that applies to all areas of our prosperity, whether it's love and relationships, health and financial abundance, whatever it might be. It is this dynamic exchange that we constantly participate in. So I invite everyone to participate this morning with us at home and online as well. And again, we've got many ways. Online through our website, we have a donate portal. Once you're there, you may get the opportunity to join our auto tithe program. And that just means that your donation comes out on an automatic basis each week, and you receive tithe tickets to put in the basket as your reminder and consciousness of the prosperity that you're participating in. We also have a prosperity program called Money Finders, where you keep an eye out for all of the good that comes to you that you weren't expecting, the things that are serendipitous in nature. And you record those on the back of the envelope. You tithe 10% of that. What that does is proves the principle of what we focus on expands in our life. So whatever you're focusing on, maybe it is, who did I forgive today? Who did I forgive today? And you just focus on that and list all of those forgivenesses for the week. And it doesn't have to be money that you turn in. You can turn in your envelope about how forgiveness expanded in your life this week, how your health expanded in your life this week, or how your abundance expanded in your life. So this can be a good way to expand all of the prosperity in our lives. We also take Zelle now, which there is a QR code for Zelle also. No, we don't have one. Okay, it's Scottsdale CSL. Okay. All right, there you go. Click on it online. So anyway, we'll get there. It's magic. There you go. It's magic. What's this one go to? PayPal? PayPal. Okay, so lots of ways: PayPal, Zelle, cash, check, credit card, you name it. If you are making a cash donation today and you would like credit for that, we are a 501c. You can use one of the tithing envelopes out front, and that way we'll be sure and send you a record at the end of the year for your income taxes for 2024. So we have an affirmation this morning. Would you join me? I am an open channel through which prosperity flows. I accept the divine flow of goodness, ideas, and substance through me now. I am grateful for my full and prosperous life, and so it is.
Gratitude before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around me. I'm so grateful, 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 I'm so grateful. Gratitude before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around me. I'm so grateful, 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 I'm so grateful.
And blessing that which has been circulated here today from our music, our message, our hugs, our smiles, our greetings, to the financial good that has been circulated to and through this community. I know that the gift and the giver are blessed, pressed down to overflowing in the all abundance of their lives, represented by the cash contributions this morning. I know that Scottsdale Center for Spiritual Living is a grateful receiver for all of the blessings that it receives each and every day through this love of this community. We are so blessed, and so it is. Thank you, Kim. A few closing announcements. If you would like prayer today, Reverend Lee and I are available for that. We'll meet you back in the lobby and go in the prayer room. You can also leave a written prayer request at the front table. There's a box with some slips that you can list your prayer request on. We also have a link on our website that you can submit a prayer request 24/7. If you ever, maybe you're at work or at home and you just feel like you need a prayer, you can submit it online and it goes out to Reverend Lee, myself, and to Daniel, and we all hold you in prayer for that. That's available always. Reverend Lee and I are also available for spiritual counseling, spiritual coaching, and that's by appointment. So just let us know what you're working on that we can help you with. Easter Sunday coming up on the 31st, potluck in the courtyard celebrating our 9th anniversary. Yay, us. So that's a beautiful event that we have, and everyone's welcome. Bring your friends and family. We'd love to have everybody here on that Sunday. You can sign up in the lobby for a dish to share. And next Sunday, we're going to keep this series going, talking about forgiveness. In my talk, Take This Cup Away. We sometimes know that something's coming into our life that we just don't really think we're going to like very much. You ever had that feeling? It's like, yeah, I'm not going to like this doctor's appointment, this procedure, right? We know these things are coming, and sometimes we want to bargain them away. But we're going to look as Jesus enters the garden to pray and talk about that next week. So I hope you can be here for that. Please stand for our affirmation. And our closing song is Michael this morning. I live in peace and share my joy. I am empowered by spiritual truth. Today I let love lead to freedom. And so it is.
There was a time in my life, thought I had to do it all for myself. Didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. I didn't know the love of God was at hand. But now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, gotta let it go. Gotta let it all go. Are you listening? You got to let it all go. And this is what you have to say. I release and I let go. Let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Oh, I release and I let go. Let the Spirit run my life, run my heart is open. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Oh, I release. I let go. I let go. Let the Spirit in my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. Free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Oh, I am free in the Spirit. Do you want to be free? Then let me hear you say yes. Yes, I'm only here for God.